Hello, good day. Today I'm going to be making some moose meat with gravy and over mashed potatoes. I don't know how many items I have here, but an onion, moose meat, some oil, a little bit of salt and flour, and then just potatoes, mash them up. 5 items. So I'm going to start with an onion. Baseball size, but I'm only going to use half of it. And you'll see the reason why shortly. So first we're going to peel the onion. Gotta go over to the garbage. Whoops. Alrighty. So all I'm gonna do is just slice my onion. I'm not gonna cut it this way. It's gonna be chopped up anyway. I'm just kind of prepping everything because I do have to get the potatoes ready. Just trying to get this little brown onion skin off, but that'll be enough, I guess. I'll put these onions aside for now because I do have to cut up the meat. Which I had thawing for a while. It was frozen. Just a small chunk, but I've we actually had a meal with the other meat a while back. And when I'm cutting up moose meat, I like to really, you see these parts here? This skin, silver skin, or I'm not sure, maybe somebody has a different name. I usually like to clean those off of my meat, and they'll be a little bit more. So what I do is, I remember when I cut it last time, the grain was going this way, so I really like to cut against the grain, and it's I like to cut some thin pieces out. The thinner it is, could be a little bit more tender. And this will be enough for about 3 people. So I will, I'll just finish slicing everything and then I'll come back to it. Hello. So I've kind of prepped the meat. Doesn't look like much, but it's going to be gravy and potatoes, and it's just for 3 of us right now. So I got the onion here chopped, and then right now we're just doing some. We're going to wash these potatoes and we're going to cook them with. Skin on. A lot of the nutrients are in the skin, so we're going to boil them like that and mash them like that. Put our meat on top. I'll show you the finished product. Or when I'll start cooking it and I'll show you guys that. So here are the potatoes. I usually like red ones, but these are okay right now. It's what we have. So I'm just going to cut them and we're going to put them in a pot. We'll wash them up again. I've washed them once already, but just from whatever's on this thing. I know if you have things like this on your potato, I just cut them off, toss it away, and then just continue cutting. Sometimes we'll have other vegetables with it. Sometimes I'll boil carrots with my potatoes so that they're we mash them together. little black spot on the end of this potato here, so I'm just gonna cut that off. Sorry about that. I had a phone call, so I had to turn my phone off for a minute, answer it. But somebody's bringing by some slippers for my auntie. She made them, so she's dropping them off. My wife does beading as well, but she hasn't beaded for quite a while, so we've she really enjoyed it, and she does enjoy doing that. So her and a friend of ours got together, and they're making a pair of slippers for my aunt, and that's what she's dropping off. My wife did the vamps, and then she did the slippers. So anyway, those are my potatoes. Oops, sorry, can you see that? I got a new tripod here. I'm just trying to check out too. Just getting used to it and the angles that it goes to. So everything's kind of all prepped now. So we're going to try to get that down. So I will come back after I get everything set up on a stove here. So welcome back. Now I've got my things here. I put my potatoes on to boil. That's on high. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put oil in my pan here. And usually I'd use lard. That's what we kind of used before. But then again, we didn't have cast iron long ago. So I've got some oil in here. It seems like a lot, but hey, maybe it is too much. So I'm going to turn that on. I don't know how much is in there. Probably about up to here on my finger. Inside of here. So I'm going to cook my meat in there. And inside of this jar here, I have two of my spoons that you use for soup. Not usual tablespoons, but the tablespoons that you get cutlery. So 2 tablespoons. And I always find that if it's one tablespoon is good for one cup of water or 1 cup of liquid. So with the oil that's going to go in there and the liquid that's going to go in there, I thought 2 cups of 1 cup of water in here, mixed in here after the meat is done, and then that will make a nice gravy. I know sometimes growing up we would have just the meat cooking in here, and then out onto a plate, and whatever was cooked into the oil would be the, not the gravy, but kind of like the topping for our food. So I think that might be, no, it might not be warm enough, but I will wait for a minute, let it get a little bit hotter. So moose meat is kind of was a staple growing up too. Going hunting, we would do a lot of moose around the home, and whatever we went out and hunted, sometimes it was we call them spruce hens, but they were chickens, rabbits. I remember I heard too that people used to eat squirrel, but we never did. I never did. I don't think it was cooked in our family, but just mostly moose and our spruce hens and rabbits and chicken. Sorry, not chicken. We have so I might put a little bit more meat in here if I had it, but this is all the only chunk I had. I might have put too much oil, but it'll cook down. And you could substitute this beef for whatever you want to make your meat and gravy with. You could use a beef roast and slice it. So after the meat came out of the freezer, I let it sit for a while so that it wasn't so hard cutting it. And that way you could get thinner slices. And I remember going out to where we had our moose in the winter time, was in the shed, hanging in there. Sometimes we had a freezer, depending if we were in a community, but out in the trap line and you're out, you don't really have the electricity there, so you have a shed in the winter. You hang your moose in there, and we take an axe and we go and they say go get some moose meat, so we'll go and chop off pieces from there. And then we would take those into whatever bowl we had, and then we would take it in, and then we fry it up. And a lot of our mousse, so I'm going to put the fan on, and I hope it isn't too loud. The potatoes take about 20 minutes. The meat is fairly quick, might be about 15 to 20 minutes as well. And because it's thin, cut thin, it's going to cook faster. Yeah, and hopefully my gravy is going to work out, because yeah, I do have quite a bit of grease in there. So my flour, I'm going to go add my water to it and shake it up. I like using a jar. Because when you got a jar, you can just kind of shake it up like that. Mix all your flour, because you don't want a big chunk of flour falling in there. Just make a big, what do you call those? Dumpling. I don't want a big dumpling in my moose meat. So just shake it up. Oh, you know what? I forgot my onions. Always nice to have onions in your food. Just a half an onion. And some salt. And you can see on the side here, that stuff there would have been lots in there if I had more meat. And the brown stuff would have been the stuff we would have used for topping on our food. But because I may have put too much grease in, and you know what? Especially in the winter out, you're going to eat a lot of that, the fat. Sometimes we would have used, we would have had lard, not oil, going out, so we would have purchased pounds of lard from the store when we were heading out. And you know what, I think it's done, so I'm going to just add my flour mixture, and all it is, like I said, is just flour and water in here. And the mixture is probably about 1 tablespoon of flour to 1 cup of liquid. And hopefully I can incorporate the oil from this meat into the gravy. Yeah, I don't fall for putting in too much oil. Usually I use that much oil for the amount of meat I would have. So it is going to be a little bit greasy, but I can use one of my other spoons. And oh, my potatoes are boiling. And those will take about, I don't know, about 15 minutes, I guess. Oh, turning them too low here. So I'm going to put them about 3, and I'll just let those boil. And then this gravy mixture will probably sit for about probably cook for about 5 minutes. I usually like to cook, make sure my flour is cooked so that you don't get that flour taste. And that usually takes around 5 minutes. You know what, I'm gonna go get a whisk, see if maybe that will help it out. Oh, yeah, it's breaking it up a little bit smaller, so looks like it might work. I think I might have it on too high, so I just want it to simmer, not to really bubble a lot over. Oops. Okay, when it's done, I will show you the finished product. So here's the we're able to incorporate a lot of that oil, but I did take some out as well. And then that gravy will just sit. If you had waited a little bit longer too, it would have gotten a little bit browner. Look a little bit more like gravy, but this is more of a roux. So anyway, that's the moose meat with gravy. And then our potatoes are still boiling, so we have to wait for those. Be about another 10 minutes. And then I'll plate it. Okay folks, so this is the finished product. There's the moose meat and gravy. Our mashed potatoes with the skins on. And here's the finished product. So our mashed potatoes, gravy. We'd usually have another vegetable with this, but I said I'd make moose meat and mashed potatoes. And if anybody wants to know, maybe the Crees would get this. So if you don't know how to make potatoes, there's a simple way to do it. First you cook them, and then you mush them. Let that sink in.